Mike, what do you got to talk about tonight?
Nothing. Well, guys, it's the end of the summer, and for those of you that don't know, I work at a college, and I'm the head of my department at college, and the fall semester is about to start, and I'm dealing with a lot of fucking shithead students that can't do their shit when they need to do their shit, or I'm not going to get into it anyway. It's been a hellacious time, and Mateo's kids are back in school now, and my kids are getting ready for school now, and the summer's ending, and it's fucking panic mode everywhere, and as a result, we didn't plan a show for this week. So rather than not put a show out this week, we're gonna still put a show out this week, and it's gonna be just a big jumble of things that are things I don't really know what it's going to be. I guess we'll find out as we go along. Hey, Mateo, how's things?
Things are okay. I got sick as a dog, so I might sound a little nasally, which is probably normal. Yeah.
How sick do dogs get?
I want to say sick as a polar bear because I saw some video today where a polar bear just stood there and barfed for like 6 or 7 minutes. I was like,
was it intentional barfing though, or was it actually sick?
It was all green, so I assume it was sick, and
it was puking up bile.
Yeah, so after like the second heave, I was like, oh no, something's wrong. And after the third minute, I was like, it's gonna die. It's gonna drop. Let's wait for that. And it just kept throwing up. I was like, oh man,
it's going down. Sorry, polar bear. I never got the phrase sick as a dog, and I'm sure if I wasn't so lazy I'd look it up, but I'm not going to look it up right now. Even with the power of editing, it's bullshit. But
with my luck, it has something to do with it eating its own excrement, and I just announced that I don't feel well because I ate my own doo-doo.
I mean, having had a few dogs in my life and having a few cats as well, I can say without a doubt that cats get sicker than dogs, like routinely.
I would have to agree with that.
Cats are always puking, spitting up hairballs, puking up God only knows what. Like, I don't even have outdoor cats. What are you puking up, man? What are you getting into? I mean, the worst that they could get into would be the occasional cricket that escapes from my fucking mantis.
I'm gonna go with it licks its own asshole a lot. So
it does. I mean, they dig in their own shit. And then they come out and they just walk their shit paws all over the place. I clean their fucking litter box every single day, but no matter what, it's still a box that you shit in, and you're digging through it and then walking on everything, and then tracking cat litter. Cats are a fucking bastard, and especially this cat. I don't know if this is going to show up on the recording, but I've got a cat in the other room that's going crazy right now. Well, right now he's not specifically, but he's been going crazy throughout the recording up to this point. So if you hear tumbling and bumbling in the background, that's that asshole. His name's Hugo. He is a fucker.
Hugo, he's like a sword fighter, poet.
He's more like a goddamn menace. He's a walking calamity.
Well, I did come across something pretty interesting. It's some new UFO. I don't know how new it is, actually. I didn't even pay attention to the date. That's how ill prepared we are today.
Oh God, we're gonna hear about this.
Yeah,
they're gonna fucking shit all over us on iTunes reviews and say that we're motivated sleepers.
Yeah. We get enough of that. It's actually from last year, so it's not that bad, but I hadn't come across this. And if we had, we definitely would have talked about this, but this is commonly known as the Chilean Navy UFO. Now, I don't know if you've seen the footage.
I kind of feel like I've seen this. Let me pull this up real quick. Like, hold on.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the show notes, guys. So you click on it right now as well, unless you're driving. Don't touch anything. Just drive.
Yeah, seriously, don't watch UFO videos. The only UFOs you should watch while driving are the UFOs that are in the air while you're driving. Then it's okay. But you should probably also pull over and get out and take footage. Get that shit. Even though I'll like cell phones can't pick up UFOs for some reason. They all look like shit.
I think that's on purpose.
You think they've got a design flaw to prevent UFOs?
Yeah, far focusing, something weird.
Yeah. It is. I mean, sometimes the cameras do get fucky, man. Like, I've got the hardest time trying to take a picture of my mantis, and it never wants to focus in on it, which leads me to give a little strength to my theory that mantises are really aliens and they're not insects like we think. I don't know. I think there's something to it.
I think it's safe to go with that. Those are some weird fucking animals.
Dude, the one I've got right now is fucking gnarly. It's the coolest thing that I've ever had. It's all white. It's got light purple eyes, and on its front stabby legs, it's got purple stripes, and its legs, where the joints are on the legs, are all green. Everything else is white with some like light tan or off-white coloring, and he's spiky all over.
Dude, I think that is an alien. Is that normal for a praying mantis? I mean, that has to be the cover of this episode.
This is I'll see if I can get a picture for it. This is a spiny flower mantis. And once it becomes an adult, its wings fold together on its back and make the shape of an eye.
Oh my God.
Dude, it's so badass.
And then it summons Doctor Strange.
I hope so. That's my hope. It gets big enough to summon fucking Dormammu himself.
You want the biggest, baddest, evil one? No Doctor Strange?
Yes. Either Dormammu or Cthulhu. Either way, I'll be happy. I'll be like, yes, Dreadlord.
So, Mike, you just said that is 2 years old. How come nobody shit their pants about this like the Tic Tac video? I mean, why didn't we? I haven't heard about this or seen this.
How about this? How about the fucking Mexican Air Force footage that was released 13 goddamn years ago that no one gives a shit about?
See, I haven't heard of this either.
Oh my God. Go pull it up right now. You got to see it. Just look up Mexican Air Force UFO, and you'll probably have to scroll down a bit. It'll look like it's black and white, and it's two glowing lights.
All right, I just got done watching that, but before we get to that, I got to hear your thoughts on that Chilean one before we dig into that one, because that's incredible. What do you think about that Chilean one? Just exactly like the Tic Tac?
I wouldn't say just like the Tic Tac, but it's pretty similar, I think. A similar type of footage where I don't know, it's cool, it's definitely something I guess extraordinary, but to me neither one is as compelling as the Mexican Air Force footage.
Okay, let's get into that then, because that is incredible, and it's from a long time ago. Was it 2005? It said
2004, I think.
Wow. Okay, this is like the Phoenix Lights almost, but with more lights.
Yeah, there were 11 in total that showed up,
and it started out as 2, and it just these 2 lights, it looks like headlights in the sky, really. Huge headlights, but they just start breaking apart, and it looks like cloning themselves. And did you think that the batch of 3 was one ship now? I mean, you can't think that when he started off as...
So when you look at it, it looks like there were 3 in a row that had the exact same formation, and it was like a formation of 3 lights, but there were 3 of these in a row. So it seemed like maybe each grouping of 3 was one object.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the other footage where you see just pairs of lights. So I don't know. It's it's weird, man. And it gets there was some skeptics that tried to explain it as ball lightning, and others said it was a meteorite that was breaking up in the atmosphere. But look at the way that these things are moving. Like they're for one, in a lot of the cases they're uniform. So ball lightning isn't going to create uniformity and repeating patterns like that. And it's not, ball lightning typically moves and like kind of dances around. These are mostly moving in a straight line. And then when you look at the meteorite explanation of the thing exploding, like there was no explosion, and the lights look like the same shape and intensity, and this thing explodes. Like if you've ever seen what it looks like when a meteorite explodes, it's a lot of different pieces. You're not going to just see these, you know, I don't think either one of those explanation really explains it.
Again, it's a ridiculous claim or to use as an explanation. There's a point to where a bunch of them seem to flicker and kind of glitter out a little bit. So I mean, that's like a desperate grab, I guess, at an explanation with the lightning thing. But no, these two lights break off to form several groups. It doesn't
make sense for what they're trying to say. But there is some stuff behind it that kind of makes me wonder. I guess initially when the footage was released, it was being said that the lights weren't seen by the pilots, and it wasn't until they were reviewing the tapes that they saw it. But then later reports said that the pilots actually witnessed it. And one of the pilots actually claimed that the military scrambled their jets to chase the light.
No, that's not unbelievable either. You know, I don't see why that wouldn't be added to all versions of the story.
It's just weird that it started by saying that it wasn't found until they were reviewing the footage from. It was an infrared camera, and that's how they were picked up. Yeah,
that's fishy, especially since there's audio of people reacting to what they're seeing.
But I mean, it could be like a group of people reacting to the video, like, holy shit, how many of those are there?
Well, they're all talking through headsets, though. See, that's the fishy thing. It's if that is the case, they've definitely made to make it seem like it's being reacted to as it's happening, because they react to stuff as it happens. You know, with that headphone sound on, I don't know. Either way, it's very impressive. I mean, it is. It goes behind and in between clouds, so I mean, it doesn't look CGI at all, not at all.
Yeah, that's way more interesting, I think, than the Chilean one from 2 years ago, or the Tic Tac, which that came out more recently, but that happened 5 years ago. And this one was just completely swept under the rug. And the Chilean one was mostly ignored, but because the U.S. media actually got behind this thing, and the military was quote unquote agreeing to release this footage, it was taken seriously and it became a big deal. But which is kind of bullshit when you think about it from a world perspective. Like, you've got two other foreign countries, well, foreign to the United States. You've got two other countries that release this official footage from their military, and no one bats an eye. They're like, oh, it's bullshit, it's fucking swamp gas, it's the boogeyman. And then the US is like, we've got footage too, and they're like, oh my god, UFOs are real, and they're gonna be aliens, and we're gonna find out, and the government's gonna tell us about it finally. And that's not the case at all. Well, I mean, it's all part of a scheme. And I know I get a lot of hate for talking about that, but I fucking stand by it, goddammit.
The Chilean footage, I mean, it's very impressive footage as well. And it seems like you said, goddamn muscle car, tiny pecker having son of a bitch. I'm sorry your dad left you. what the focus? Oh yeah, the Chilean footage is very impressive. It's very cool footage, and like you said, it was pretty much ignored. But it just seems like and I'm not trying to get too political here, because I mean Trump talked about making a space force, which is, I mean, Reagan talked a lot about outer space and aliens and other civilizations in outer space.
He had a goddamn program called Star Wars.
Yeah,
come on.
So
and he talked about aliens and I think 2 speeches.
Yeah, so it's not unheard of, but to say he's going to make a space force when he's made a bunch of crazy claims and stuff like that. But I don't know. It just seems like, to me, coincidentally, since Trump's taken office, everybody's reporting on UFOs a lot more. I mean, Tom DeLonge's things gained a lot of steam, since Trump's taken office, and now he's talking about the Space Force. Do you think that's, I don't know. Do you think it's just trying to get everybody more comfortable talking about this stuff? Or do you think people are just paying attention more?
I don't think any of it's legit. I think it's all distraction. It's all psyops tactics to reach a certain point.
I'll
what
agree
the
with
point
that.
is, I don't fucking know. I don't know. I've speculated before it could be an attack of some sort, but that's just speculation. I've got no evidence to back that up at all. It's just me bullshitting. But there's got to be a reason behind it, and they're not, especially if you are one of the people that believe the government has been hiding this information for decades. Even if we want to say Roswell was the first one, and they had nothing to do with them before then, but after Roswell, that's when things changed. Or maybe even it was later, who knows? But if you believe that the government is hiding things regarding the UFO subject, why would you now believe that they're releasing that? It doesn't make sense. It just, the government all of a sudden is going to be like, you know what? Yeah, well, we were bullshitting you this whole time, and we were investigating UFOs. You're right. And they've done that before with Grudge, and then they're like, "Oh, Grudge is over. We're not investigating UFOs." And then Blue Book, and then Blue Book was over. Oh, we're not investigating UFOs. And then this comes out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've only been doing it for a few years now, though, and it definitely wasn't for decades, and we definitely weren't interested previously in UFOs, but we are now, or we were, but we're not investigating them anymore because that project is over." So what's the name of the new project, though? There's some reason why they're releasing this and putting UFOs into normal society, where it's not just fucking crackpot investigators and tinfoil hat wearing weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
It's now being reported on national news.
Yeah, and that's strange in itself. And it seems like all the new UFO stuff, they're kind of moving away from the alien stuff and more towards the unknown and unidentifiable type thing. I don't know if it's because they're avoiding the words or anything like that, but maybe it's because it's just more believable for the modern people, today's people, that it's just an unidentified craft, and maybe people have caught on finally that it just doesn't mean alien, but it does seem like it has more of a unidentified craft feel instead of an alien feel. And I don't mean to pick on Trump when I say that it's since he's been in office, because we've joked before about, I hope that he does the Space Force stuff, and in my wildest dreams, this will be his like ace in the hole. When everybody hates him the most and his ratings are the lowest, he's going to be like, "Oh yeah, boom, here's the alien card," and actually release all that shit.
The alien Trump card, maybe? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, I still wouldn't, I don't know. I don't want to get into what I agree with and I don't agree with, but that would definitely turn his ratings around for a lot of people.
I don't think it would. I don't think it would at all. You'd have like a handful of UFO nuts being like, maybe because he's got the courage to release the information when everybody else wouldn't. But I don't know.
Do you think it would just throw?
I don't think the general public would change their opinion one way or the other based on UFO information.
Do you think they would just be in a panic and that would kind of some way help him?
No, I don't even think it would be a thing with panic. I just all the horrors that we hear on TV and in the news every single day, and even like fucking mass shootings are getting less and less reaction now. It's more just like, well, no surprise there. It's not really, it's hardly even shocking anymore. It's still tragic, but it's, you know, it used to like think back when Columbine happened, how shocking that was.
Right.
And, you know, it was fucking terrifying, and nothing like that had ever been like so widely publicized, and just how horrifying it really was. And then now we've got it almost every day, and it's just like, oh, here's another one. Oh, here's another one. All this stuff that happens overseas that gets reported on, no one bats a fucking eye. And there's some terrible stuff like children being killed in schools due to bombings, things like that. And nobody gives a shit. You think they're going to care about aliens?
Yeah.
People are just so self-absorbed. And I mean, not all people. I'm sure most of our listeners are wonderful people, because, you know, why else would they be listening to us?
Impeccable taste.
Yes. Wonderful taste. Lovely human beings. I would buy a beer for each of them. And if they don't drink beer, I would gladly give them an apple juice so that they didn't feel left out.
Yep. And one in a glass bottle so he felt cool too. Martinelli's, baby. Best for you.
Yeah. Or maybe a root beer in a glass bottle.
Ooh.
Nice brown bottle root beer.
Maybe if you're a hipster, we'll make it a black cherry cream soda in a glass bottle.
Black cherry cream soda. I kind of want to skip the beer now.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were handing out the fancy shit. Hanging out with those guys.
Yeah, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with all this UFO stuff. I mean, isn't Tom DeLonge saying that they're going to release something big soon, or they've got something big soon? Or
yeah, I don't. Fuck that guy. For real.
I don't. Of course, the whole music thing adds to the fuck that guy factor. I mean, I don't hate the guy, but I'm just, for some reason, with that guy. And again, I didn't watch him on Rogan. I didn't listen to him on Rogan, so I don't have any physical cues to go off of, but I'm just waiting for that guy to Coney 2012 out. Like he's just going to show up covered in green paint, running down the street naked with like a butcher knife and like a dead rabbit in one hand, screaming about overlords, and they're just going to lock him up.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. I think that he's going to be the next fucking Paul Benowitz. I think he's being used as like a mouthpiece, you know, and it seems weird that they would go for someone like that who, you know, maybe just because he understands the subject and is enthusiastic about it and he has a platform. So they're like, you know what, we can use him. Let's get him involved. He's got some money to invest and, you know, make him feel important. We'll put some actual real names behind him, some scientific names, some government names, and, you know, it'll be believable at that point.
That dude's always been into UFOs from what I understand. Do you think he got himself involved in this type of shit?
Well, I think he was most likely looking into it. And I think he was doing his own investigation, probably as a private investigator, or not a private investigator, but like a civilian investigator. You know, he's just really enthusiastic about the subject, and he was probably doing what he could to look into it. And, you know, he's a pretty famous guy, so I'm sure he's got some money that he can use to help with his investigation. I mean, he doesn't have like billionaire money or anything, but he's pretty well off, so he's going to have some money that he can invest in researching, and he probably made the right contacts, and through his contacts he was introduced to more people. And, you know, as things do, especially you look at any UFO investigator who's gotten really deep into the investigation, and they start getting contacted by people. And sometimes it's military, sometimes it's government, sometimes it's the mysterious men in black. And it's that there's always this kind of presence in their lives when they look at Keel's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of his life, shit was going crazy. Look at fucking Phil Schneider. People are trying to assassinate him, and then he gets choked to death with his own catheter.
Oh man. Every time I read up on that guy, which I do every so often, or watch any of his speeches, that shit always blows my mind.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But I think that he was kind of like a right place at the right time sort of situation, and he was able to get access to the right people, and they started to feed him some information to see how he would take it, and then started this foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, that's the way that they're talking. They're To the Stars Academy is like the platform for disclosure, and that's where like all these leaks and stuff are coming from. But again, if you're gonna have disclosure, why would you give stuff? Why would you say that there's stuff you can't talk about? Like if you're putting it out there, why are you still saying, oh, I can't talk about that? And if you have the shit and you're saying you're gonna release it, why is it like a planned release, like an unveiling? If you already have it, fucking release it. Like all this stuff, when you really look at it for its parts, it just, none of it makes sense.
Right.
Like they want to do disclosure, and they keep saying we've got some big stuff coming, and they released like that one that looked CGI with the fucking teleporting black triangle.
Mm-hmm.
That one looked CGI, but they're saying that was a real craft, but it was a military craft that was built using alien technology. And none of it makes sense to me. And I would really have to think that if somebody is really committed to disclosure, then why would they sit on information and tease it? Like, teasing information is something you do to build hype.
Right.
That's not something you do if you're trying to actually get information out to the public.
Did he do that a lot when he was on Rogan? Like that much?
There was so much stuff Rogan was asking him questions about, and he would just respond with, oh, I can't talk about that. We can't talk about that now. And like he would start like referencing things that were being told to him, but then when asked about it, he would just say he couldn't talk about it. He wasn't allowed to talk about that yet. Or that'll be released sometime later, but we can't release it right now. Like a lot of stuff like that. It was almost like there was no point in him going on because he didn't give any real information.
Wow. Did Rogan snap at him? Was he like, dude?
No, he was kind of mocking him a few times during the interview. Like there was one time when he had his headset off and it was just him and Jamie with the headsets on, and he was just really quietly talking in the mic to Jamie, making fun of him. He came off, he really came off like he was unprepared. And it was really, like I said, it seemed like it was designed to build hype. Like he couldn't give any actual information. A lot of the stuff he would start talking about, but say he didn't have the knowledge to like really explain it. Like Joe was asking about propulsion systems, and he would give like some vague answer, and Joe would ask a more detailed question, and he would just be like, I don't know, I'm not a scientist. This is just what I was told. And so it was just, it was like having a UFO fanboy on the show and just pretending that he had information that he didn't have.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that he was, like, you should give it a listen, man. It was a really weird show.
I'm going to have to now.
It was like almost frustrating at times because he would start getting into something and then he just couldn't get further into it, or either wasn't willing or wasn't able to provide more details.
I saw a couple of clips from it, and I totally didn't agree with how Rogan treated the guy in just a few clips that I saw. Even.
Yeah, he did come off like a fucking, like I said, he came off unprepared, and it seemed like he was just there to put out teasers, but Rogan was being pretty disrespectful at parts. But I think it was likely because he was getting frustrated, like, why the fuck are you on my show and you're not even talking about anything? Right,
that's a pretty big platform. I mean,
yeah,
to waste like that.
Yeah, and I think he usually goes 3 hours. I don't even think he gave him 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was because he wouldn't give any information. Like, he kept asking for stuff, and he just couldn't provide any information.
Yeah.
So it was just frustrating. There was nothing of substance.
Yeah, to hear that he's just not going to release it or can't talk about it. I mean,
Yeah,
you definitely can if your whole platform is disclosure.
So one thing that he was talking about was the forms of disclosure that they're going to be doing. And he said one of the ways they're going to be doing disclosures through works of fiction. And he was writing these novels, and a lot of the stuff that's going on in the novels is what's really happening.
Oh,
but he has to release it as a fiction. Yeah, it was like, come on.
Wow.
So you're telling me your fiction is reality, and you're releasing it as fiction, but you're saying it's reality that has to be released as fiction so that nobody knows it's real.
Oh.
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying, dude. Nothing about this fucking To the Stars Academy shit makes any sense.
That's bizarre. I didn't know that at all. I mean, if that's your plan, you got to release secret information in a work of fiction. You don't announce it. That's the whole fucking point.
I know.
That is so sad.
Nothing about it makes fucking sense.
Okay, so yeah, his whole academy is just it's a plug for his books. Then I'm not going to.
No, I don't know. I think that's, I think he's plugging his books, but I don't, because the academy has like legit scientists behind it, but I think it's got government backing, even if it's like secret. I don't know if it's overt or not.
It's a planted investor. I mean, it's a government.
Yeah, exactly. It's there to provide disclosure in quotation marks with an asterisk, and then in fine print under the asterisks, it's may not contain actual truth. The government does not want you to know.
That's easy enough to orchestrate, right? To have some plant investor and then just tie up some of the most popular and scientists that study the shit, the best minds, and have them just sit there. They're not going to complain if they're sitting there getting paychecks, especially if somebody sends them some information that's of some sort of substantial value, and they're just like, hold on for a year, okay, guys, and they're gonna be like, sure, where's my check? Cool,
right here. Here's we want you here so that you can verify certain things with your expertise, and then they give them some crazy looking device, and they're like, well, clearly this is exotic technology. It's nothing that we have on Earth, and it's blah 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 blah. And really, it's just part of a top notch vacuum cleaner, but nobody knows any better except for these guys.
Can you imagine? They just tie them up for 4 years with that.
Yeah,
just like a part of.
Or
a
who knows?
vacuum
Maybe it's maybe some of these people are actually, like Tom DeLonge, are actually interested in studying the phenomena, and the government is paying them and just wasting their time with bullshit. But they don't know that it's bullshit, so they're actually actively investigating, and the government knows exactly what they're giving them, and it's fucking bullshit.
Dude, what if he's just trying to tough it out while he's being bombarded by all this true information, and 10 years from now there's like some summer blockbuster movie where it's like that Mel Gibson conspiracy film, and it's his true story.
The true story of Tom.
You must tell them you've been chosen, Tom DeLonge. You must inform the masses about the aliens.
I don't want to. I just want to play pop punk music and try to bang teenagers.
No, Tom, you must enter the cave and find the disclosure. and then the sequel is the Tom's search for disclosure. And he's like in a fucking jungle and shit, fighting natives. Have you seen Disclosure? No one knows what the fuck he's talking about. He hardly knows what he's talking about. He's just blowing up trees and fighting apes and shit.
Beating poor locals that are just trying to farm. Do you have a disclosure? Whoosh.
I'm here on the search for disclosure. Have you seen any? Good, sir. And they're just like, we don't speak English. Please get off our property.
He sets fire to everything and
Give
runs
me
away.
your disclosure, and he drop kicks them.
Burns down their huts and starts screaming.
Burns down takes their fucking livestock. These are my livestock until I get disclosure.
Tom, you have strayed from the truth of the cave of intergalactic knowledge. You have gone mad with your power.
Fuck you. My power is the greatest power of all time. I have the power of pop punk rock stardom. And I'm awesome. And all the teenagers love me. And I make wonderful music that most people hate. But it's really secretly awesome. And it contains the secret of the universe. And only people that understand the secret of the universe, like teenage girls, understand my music. And also I have a lip ring.
If you want to know the secrets, you got to buy my books. If you're not a teenage girl, you have to buy the books to know the secrets of the universe.
It's true, because they won't understand the music. They won't.
Buy it digitally or $5.99 for shipping and handling.
No one pays for shipping and handling anymore.
I have to buy a piece of equipment. And
actually, we have to pay for shipping and handling every time we send shit out.
Yeah, and I'd have to buy a piece of equipment. And I have Amazon Prime. And for some reason, it says Amazon Prime.
The one piece you need is not Prime available.
Oh, no, it says it is, but it's going to take 3 months to get here. I don't know why. Or I can pay like...
So that basically means they don't have it in stock and they don't know when they're going to get it in stock and they're blowing smoke up your ass.
Yeah, and I can buy it that's not Prime and pay like $17 for shipping, which makes me feel like a dumb slut paying for Prime. First world problems, right, guys?
Tom DeLonge problems, right, guys?
Another thing I came across that I wanted to show you just because I keep getting my heart broken by these goddamn things, but this is a new Ogopogo sighting. And I don't know what to make of these long waves in the water fucking videos anymore. Watch this video and tell me what you think about this shit, because it is long, but I just, I want to see humps. Lovely Nessie humps.
Yeah. Lovely Nessie humps. All right, let me see this. All right, based on this picture alone, I'm already calling bullshit, but let me watch the footage. It just, I can't remember the name of those waves, but it looks like one of those waves.
Yeah, like wake. I think it's called wake waves. Wake.
No, it's a different type of wave because it's not caused by a boat, but it's caused by it's a natural sort of thing, and that's what this looks like. Like if I saw that on the water, I wouldn't think anything extraordinary was occurring.
Yeah,
it doesn't look. It looks like a wave. Like it's not slithering like a snake. I don't know. It's not splashing.
What if the government's trying to get all our attention onto outer space because they've discovered some horde monster in the depths of the ocean?
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I would love it. It's like no, there's aliens in space and they know how to travel space. Seriously, guys, let's do it. Let's do it too. And we can hang out with the aliens in space. And then we get up in space and like, all right, guys, seriously, we couldn't tell you down there because it would hear us. But there is a seriously fucked up monster in the ocean that's going to eat everything.
We need to leave.
We had to get you off. Yeah, we had to get you off the planet before it caught on to our plans. So you're welcome. But where are we going to live? Who gives a fuck? Because you weren't going to live on Earth.
You're not going to get eaten by a 60,000 trillion mile long octopus.
It's cold on the moon. You know where it's not cold? In hell, where you'd be because you'd be eaten by a fucking monster.
Enjoy your tang and shut up.
Yeah. You think Buzz Aldrin complained that it was cold? No. Buzz Aldrin danced on the moon. He fucking moonwalked on the moon before the moonwalk was a thing.
Yeah. He knew it was colder in the belly of the sea beast.
He wasn't afraid, though.
Nope. He just went to another celestial body to avoid contact with it.
Jacques Cousteau knows, but he's not telling anybody.
How hilarious would that be if that's what astronaut trips were, where they're just like global catastrophes are about to happen and astronauts really were like the chosen 7 people that need to stay alive. And they're like, oh, we're just going to go drop off this thing at the space station. In reality, there's like a fire Godzilla marching around the world somewhere they're trying to contain.
Yeah. They're the actual SCP Foundation. And the SCP containment center is actually on the moon.
I just recently re-listened to your document for the Marianas Trench. That's just so awesome.
Yeah, that's what got me into the SCP stuff right there. I love that one. After I read that, I was like, damn, that is fucking cool.
Maybe we should do one for old time's sake.
Maybe. Maybe we could. I haven't even read any stuff on their site in well over a year now.
I put up a post on Instagram recently because I was looking at their site, and it was one of the first things I saw was I posted the picture of the SCP. I think it was an evil bag of potatoes, and I wrote, "This is why we don't do SCPs anymore." But if you guys,
an evil bag of potatoes,
yeah.
Can you tell me more about this? Because this actually sounds like it could be pretty cool.
No, I you know what? I'll look on their Instagram and send you the post. But if you guys know about SCPs and have one you want us to cover, send it to us.
Yeah, give us a reason to start doing it again. That shit was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And if you give us a few, we'll start putting them back on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, for sure.
Not as regularly as we did, probably, but we'll do some from time to time at least. And who knows, maybe we'll put it on Patreon first for our lovely, lovely patrons. That's patreon.com/thewhatcast. Sticker clubs, motherfuckers.
It got a little spicy last month.
Every month. It did. Very scandalous. Very scandalous.
Here it is. Endless bag of potatoes. Yeah.
Ooh, it's an endless bit, so it's not evil. It's endless.
Yeah. I mixed up my E words, but yeah, even more. It made me roll my eyes harder. I was like, come on. It used to be so cool. I know
it's still pretty cool. You got a potato bag.
I want
that
monsters.
Has a portal to a dimension of potatoes, and you just reach into the bag, and whenever you need a potato, and there's so much stuff you can do with potatoes. You can mash them, you can fry them, you can bake them, you can turn them into French fries. Hash browns.
I would rent that bag to McDonald's for $1 million a month.
There you go. And still have enough potatoes for your potato salad.
Exactly. Take 5 out and be like, cool, here you go.
Yeah.
I'm making myself some hash browns later.
Yeah. I'll be back for this bag next month. You better have my money, motherfucker.
I'm coming back for a bag of potatoes or a bag of money. You pick, Ronald McDonald.
Yeah. You're single-handedly giving potatoes to McDonald's. But that's assuming that they use potatoes for their fries. They might not be real potatoes. They might be children.
Yep. Soulless orphan children.
Just ground up and cut into French fry form and then actually fried. Vegetarians go and they don't know. They're eating children.
Thank you for listening to the Whatcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. Enjoy the podcast. Get yourself a Whatcast t-shirt or a sticker pack. Who was that dude on that one episode? Try the links in Homie's page. All this and more can be found at www.thewhatcasters.com. Thanks again for listening and have a great week.